So we're gonna be doing arms today, guys. First thing we're gonna do is warm up our elbows and wrists and forearms a little bit. So this is a funny little exercise to warm up with. Just grab a bar, the same bar that we're gonna use for our cable push down. So what we're gonna do is you're actually gonna grab it with your fingers, not by placing it on your palm, but by literally wrapping your fingers around it first. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna think about having completely pronated grip, 90 degrees with my elbow, and I'm going to supinate fully all the way over, pronate fully all the way over. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get that radia and that ulna to kind of helix over top of each other. So I'm really trying to move this forearm more so than I'm trying to move the actual handle. I'm really trying to use my forearm to do the turning, which is also going to get my brachialis involved here as well. So I'm going to go for 10 reps on each side. And you can see when I'm in this more extreme range, my brachialis, my forearm starts to shake. I really have to focus. So 10 reps on each side. And you're going to find if you have one side that struggles a little bit, let's say this side doesn't want to overlap as well, kind of wants to wing out to the side, for example, to get that movement, or you're going like this to turn it, that might also be why you have some elbow, shoulder, and wrist issues. So this is just a great way to start. And if doing it right at the end is too heavy at first, you can actually start in the middle, which will give you quite a bit more leverage, make it easier to start, and depending on what bar you use. But we're gonna do that again for both sides. Really turning over, really increasing that range of motion from the wrist and the elbow. Oh, good little forearm pump. And like I said, it's gonna get our wrists and elbows warmed up. Now we can move on to our cable pushdowns. So the first exercise we're gonna do today for our triceps is gonna be the cable pushdown. And normally what people will tend to do with the cable pushdown is they'll tend to push it away from their body. And what this is doing is essentially it's keeping a lot of that tension on this lateral head of the tricep. But I'm gonna show you guys how you can get more of that long head of the tricep in the back, right down here, where it's gonna give you more of that mass on your arm. So how are you gonna do that? First thing you're gonna do is with your wrist positioning, again with the finger grip, it's gonna be more of a revving on a motorcycle grip. So my fingers go over top rather than my whole forearm and my whole wrist taking over at the top and being now curled in with my wrist. I'm actually gonna have to extend my wrist back. Now that I've extended my wrist back, I'm gonna be able to get range of motion where my elbows carry slightly forward. And that's just fine because from here, what I'm gonna do is actually allow my shoulders to move. So I can get full tricep stretch right up here where the tricep stretches on that long head and then finish through. So even as I finish at the bottom, I'm finishing on my fingers. I'm not finishing on my wrists. I'm trying to literally finish on my fingers. And yes, you do want to lock out. And as you lock out, you want to make sure that that cable is not falling away from you. You actually want to stay over that cable. So you're in control of that weight stack, which means I need to use my core, I need to use my legs, and that'll be more important as it gets heavier. This is gonna be the last warm-up set. What I'm gonna show you guys is a little technique to really help you engage your tricep. This is also very helpful if you feel like you get elbow pain on your tricep pushdowns. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get this weight. It's a relatively heavy weight, like I said, last warm-up set. And we're gonna hold that tension at the top for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then I'm gonna press out of it. And as I'm holding it, I wanna hold it on my tricep. So I'm actually relaxing my wrists. I'm tensing up my abs. I'm using my triceps to finish through. And you'll notice right away, you're stronger from that. So great way to get warmed up. Tension for 10 seconds, then flex through it. What that's gonna do is contract your muscle and shorten the muscle while lengthening and relaxing the tendon. Really good way to get mind-muscle connection. Okay, yep, easy now. Let's go. Okay, 13 reps. So good working set. We'll just do one working set there. We still got a lot more work to do. This is my favorite exercise for biceps. Incline dumbbell curl. So what people tend to do on this one is turn this into a drag curl. So I'm sneaking back here, my elbows are back. What I really want to try to do here is use my chest and front delts. So my elbows stay forward, even as I come up, even as I come down. Yeah, so with these ones, we're gonna go 3 to 4 sets, pyramiding up, and we're keeping relatively short rest periods, 30 to 45 seconds, it's because it's arms. So here, we're gonna start light, work our way up to a top set. On this one, I also really like doing 21s. So I'll show you guys what that looks like for an incline dumbbell curl. Probably something you guys have not tried yet, but definitely recommend giving this one a shot. All right, first working set, 8 to 12 reps, straight set. Okay. So straight set done. We'll do a little rest. We'll do a back off set, and we're gonna run the back off set with a lighter weight, doing 21s. So it'll be 7 reps from the bottom, 7 reps from the top, and then trying to finish with 7 reps full. Now, trust me when I say this is much more challenging, so you're gonna have to go lighter. Yeah, that's what we want. So definitely love the incline dumbbell curl because it just gives you such a good stretch and such a good contraction. So I will usually alternate with, I'll alternate with an incline dumbbell curl or a standing dumbbell curl. But my bread and butter is the incline dumbbell curl because it just forces you to put so much more tension through your bicep. So this is my main mass builder for bicep curls, or this is my main mass builder for biceps. So we're gonna do, like I said, our last set here, 21s. Let's go, guys. And okay. Okay. Oh, a little bit of a cheat at the end there. But we got all 21 reps, so 20 pounds. But holy crap, I mean, just the pump alone, where I can barely even flex my arms. And we've only done a couple of sets so far. But we're gonna go back and forth, tricep, bicep, tricep, bicep. One thing that I like to do if I'm on my own and I want to get a quick workout in, doing this routine back to back with no rest. So I could do my cable curl, so I could do my cable press down and then do my dumbbell curl. What I can even do is just bring my dumbbells to the cable extension, cable press down, dumbbell curl. 3 to 4 sets, move on. So now we're gonna go back to tricep and we're gonna do skull crusher now. So for your skull crushers, a couple important things here. First of all, with your grip positioning, as you're gripping this, you don't want to think like I'm gonna use my wrist to push. So what you want to do with your wrist positioning is actually think about keeping your wrist back as opposed to keeping my wrist forward and trying to throw the dumbbell with my wrist. I actually want to use my fingers as much as possible, let my shoulder come up, and as my shoulder comes up and forward, I can use my serratus and my abs to keep that shoulder moving backwards and forward. So back to forward, back to forward, as opposed to down and up, down and up. I want to go back to forward, back to forward. Last set for skull crusher. Same thing, guys, we just keep pyramiding up, but what's important is for your arm days not to get caught up with the weight too much. The most important thing is that you feel the exercise in the intended muscle, regardless of the weight being used. So I do try to emphasize that, especially on arm day, you lighten the weight just a little bit and really focus on that mind-muscle connection. With that being said, guys, let's get to work. We got another major staple for your bicep development. This is really for your brachialis. This is gonna be a hammer curl, spider hammer curl with a dumbbell. So what we're gonna do here, when we're setting up our hammer curl, what I wanna think about here is my wrist position to be cocked the whole time. And what I wanna think about here is as I'm grabbing this, think about, again, grabbing with my fingers rather than grabbing it with my whole palm. I wanna grab with my fingers, lock in on the fingers, almost like if I was holding up a big mug of beer, for example, right? So there's my mug of beer, and I'm trying to push it across. Rather than just letting it fall down and then trying to pick it up, I actually have to push my shoulder and elbow across this way. So it's back and forward, almost like a pendulum. Rather than trying to lift it up, I don't need to lift it up. I need to use my pec and my delt to push it across. Last set, best set. Ugh. 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 Oh, yeah. So that's another good technique if you guys have, let's say, one side that's weaker or an injured side, for example, starting with your weaker side and going to failure, maybe an extra added rep or two, force negative with your other hand. So let's say you get 10 reps with your weaker side. You're gonna match that with your stronger side, not going beyond failure, just matching it. And over time, it'll equal out and you can switch back and forth that way. But that's one of the best things about using dumbbells is you get that effect of being able to work unilaterally. So now we're gonna move on to more triceps. So we've got a good pump now in our arms. We're gonna go to another compound exercise for our triceps. So we're gonna move on to a dip. So like I said, more tricep. So if we're looking at the tricep now, we've got our long head, we've got our lateral head, we've got our medial head. So when we're doing a dip, we are getting full tricep, We're also getting a lot of that medial head right here that's gonna really pop out after this one. So I like to set my bars a little bit wider, and that can depend on your body width. But if I go too narrow, when I get to the top, I'm gonna have a hard time keeping my wrists and elbows aligned properly. So this way allows me to be nice and neutral. So you can see here, elbows, shoulders, wrists, everything's nice and aligned. I'm gonna let that shoulder actually come up a little bit, and I'm not gonna lean forward too much, as I still wanna keep a lot of that tension on the tricep. So what I'm gonna think about here is not just shoving the handles down, but actually pushing myself out of the seat. So I do have to use my abs. I still have to actually use my legs here. So you could think about a gymnast pushing themselves up, or a muscle up, pushing yourself up. Or you can think about pushing yourself up out of a pool. All those cues really help to get that tricep involved on your dip. This is like a teeter-totter, right? So you can almost like use your weight to move the weight, if that makes sense, like a teeter-totter. You actually want to keep yourself as upright and as rigid as possible. So I don't want to see any head dipping. Your head and your neck shouldn't really move too much at all. So first thing I'm going to do is engage my core, right? So here we go. Legs, core, posture stays up. You can even hold at the bottom. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As I start to get tired, I want to lean into it a bit more and take that tension off my triceps. So we're going to be doing a high curl. This is a really great machine because it's going to put us in a more contracted or shortened position. We're right back here, really short, really contracted on this bicep. But what I want you guys to focus on is this lengthened position. So here, I'm thinking about my elbow, or rather my wrist, elbow, and shoulder, that distance apart from that wrist and that shoulder, as far apart as possible. And I'm holding that tension in my bicep, relaxing my wrist and relaxing my forearm as much as possible, and then contracting through that bicep. And again, 10 seconds at the bottom. Tension in my fingers, tension in my bicep, but I'm not going to be curling my wrist to make it happen. I'm going to be keeping that wrist back. And this is harder than it looks, keeping that tension here. Flexing through. Tension. Flexing through. Oh yeah, so that tendency to try to rush through the reps really slows it down, more time under tension. Again, better mind-muscle connection. So out of the 3 sets for this, 2 of those sets are gonna be done like that. Then the last set you can just simply do a straight set. Yeah, so this is amazing if, like I said, if you have a weaker or injured side, you're creating more tension in that muscle, relaxing and lengthening that tendon, better mind-muscle connection. Rate of failure. So just for you guys today, I'm gonna show you my #1 forearm mass builder. So what we're gonna do, grab a barbell, grab yourself a bench, and you're just gonna simply put your forearms right on the bench. And what I like to do here is roll the barbell all the way to my fingertips and then just use my fingers to roll it back up. So right on the end of my fingertips and roll it back up. Okay, so this is the first set. So we're going pretty light. And again, it's an arm day, so we're not trying to break records or move crazy weight, especially with the forearm movement. Actually, I really want to go for higher reps and really get a burn. That's why I really like to roll it to the end of my fingertips and get that stretch, and then roll it up slowly, 15 reps. So if you guys are struggling to build your forearms, this is the one. So that's how we get big forearms. It's the meat hooks right there. So not only do I try to train just without using straps as much as possible, but also literally directly training your forearms is gonna make a huge difference. If you're trying to build your forearms, this is the #1 mass builder that I would recommend. 3 to 4 sets for the end of your arm workouts. You can also do it at the end of any other upper body workout. But this is what I like to do here. We're aiming for about 60 seconds of time under tension. So there's no rushing the reps. It's all about tension control, really rolling onto the end of the fingertips and rolling back up. Minimum 15 reps. And even if you start to reach failure, you can just roll halfway. Just roll to the bottom. And then at the end, you can hold it. Woo. That's it right there. Hey, I do. Arm day, guys. One of the best days of the week. 3 exercises for biceps, 3 exercises for triceps, 1 exercise for forearms. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you did, let me know with a comment below. Make sure to let me know what you learned in this video. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, because there's a bunch of you who still have not subscribed to the channel, and it really does help me out. But also, I really appreciate all your guys' comments and support for all these videos. Let's keep working, guys. We got 6 weeks until the Italy Pro. Let's keep getting better and get stronger together.